Inside Ag on KTVB is sponsored by the Idaho Farm Bureau Federation, empowering Idaho agriculture.
Central District Health is investigating a cluster of serious illnesses in Ada County, possibly linked to raw milk.
CDH announced earlier this month 9 people got sick after drinking raw milk from R Bar H Dairy in Caldwell. Out of an abundance of caution, they say, the dairy stopped production for now to make sure products are safe before going back on the shelves. Health officials say if you choose to drink raw milk, make sure you refrigerate it within a half an hour of buying it. Keep it within the recommended temperatures and check for signs of spoilage.
Now, when it comes to pasteurized milk, Idaho is actually the 3rd largest milk producing state in the nation. And in the Magic Valley, there are more dairy cows per square mile, did you know this, than almost anywhere else in the world.
Wow, but before that milk ever reaches your grocery store, our Hunter Funk learned it goes through quite a process, even stricter than national standards. Hunter.
Yeah, we just talked about the ISDA, right? Talking about that. Well, we also went to Jerome and we went from the dairy to the milk truck and then inside the lab to see how it's tested every step of the way.
To start the process, we have dairies like this one here that milk the cows either 2 or 3 times per day.
Most of that production happens in the Magic Valley, and that milk gets pumped into here, going through filters, into pipes that cool it down, and then stored into chilled silos. Then in comes the milk truck.
When a driver first arrives at the dairy, they're going to check the temperature of the milk to make sure it's good cold milk, and then they're going to pull samples.
It's a tedious process. First comes sanitizing the silo, labeling stickers.
Each one of those sample vials has a sticker on it that's barcoded that will track it back to the specific dairy, the specific silo, the time of day that it was picked up.
Then a hand wash, a needle poke into the silo, and the sample cups are filled with the milk that will be going to the lab.
Every step of the process is regulated. Every driver that pulls a sample is state certified to pull that sample to make sure that it's an accurate sample, that it's the best possible.
Only after those steps, the milk is pumped into the truck.
Milk trucks come and pick that milk up daily or sometimes multiple times per day. Idaho produces about 700 truckloads of milk every single day of the year.
And this truck holds about 10,000 gallons of milk, and it fills fast, with about 350 gallons per minute, which takes about 20 minutes to fill all the way up. Even the tanker itself is built with quality and cleanliness in mind.
Milk trucks are slightly different than a lot of other liquid trucks like fuel trucks because most liquid trucks have baffles to keep the liquid from moving back and forth. For quality reasons, milk trucks, we don't want any rough edges. We want a completely smooth interior.
From there, it heads to the processing plant.
As soon as the trucks from the farm show up on site, the very first thing that we do is we pull a sample off of that truck. That sample gets tested to make sure the temperature is correct. It has to be below 45 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we test it for antibiotics to ensure that there are no antibiotics in that milk at all.
This is how they do that testing. First, they flush the machines to ensure there's no milk left in the hoses. Then they take those milk samples from one truck and the system sucks it up like it's gulping it from a straw. One machine measures the somatic cells, which can tell if cows are getting sick. The other ensures the protein, solids, and fats are the right ratio. Once that gets the all clear, then it goes to another test to ensure there are no antibiotics in the milk. This location gets about 72 trucks a day, meaning they do that testing 72 times. If antibiotics or other issues are detected,
that load is rejected and it never is unloaded into the plant, and it cannot be used in the human food chain at all. So the milk actually goes back to the dairy where the antibiotics came from, and they're the ones responsible for disposing of that milk. And then, yes, the tanker gets washed and cleaned up before it can start hauling milk again.
Joe Barrow hasn't experienced a milk recall in his time as Quality and Food Safety Director. And at this facility, operating since 2009, they've only had 3 loads positive for antibiotics, which was caught before it was ever unloaded. Which is why he says these tighter guidelines in Idaho do a great job of keeping the consumers safe.
There are people out there who are sensitive to antibiotics, and if you happen to get milk that's contaminated with an antibiotic, it could really make people sick, and we're not in the business to do that kind of stuff.
So the next time you grab milk or even yogurt and cheese from the store, it's gone through a long inspection process to keep you safe.
That's why we do this, to make sure it's safe for people to consume.
And again, every drop of milk that goes into a processing facility is pasteurized because it gets rid of the pathogens that are known to exist in milk, so it also keeps you safe at home.
Okay, I like feeling assured that it goes through such extensive processes, Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm, again, always curious. How did you decide to look into this?
This was, we heard about raw milk, but we were also just curious about the process, mainly also the milk trucks. I didn't realize that they didn't have slots like gasoline trucks, so that's really what sparked it.
Really different, really interesting.
Yeah.
Hunter, thank you.